Welcome to the Excursion Risk Tips. These tips are designed to save you time, money, reduce risk, and improve safety for all of your programs. Today, we're going to look at students cooking. Oh, yes, you probably just reeled back from some certain experience that you've had out on a program where a kid's cooked you something. Now, I've had both ends of the spectrum. Some kids, well, you really wouldn't trust what they cook or what they put in that meal. However, other kids can cook so well, and it is great to see them get involved and actually cook something. Now, I've come across schools and I've come across teachers who are really hesitant to allow kids to cook. But seriously, at what point do you let go and enable kids to take ownership and take responsibility and do something they really want to try? And this is something that not a lot of kids get to do at home. So the opportunity to cook whilst on camp is really important, and they love to try and impress you with their meals. There are a couple of risks involved in this and a couple of hazards, and the two main ones that we want to look at are knives and fires. Firstly, it's the preparation of the meal. It's cutting up everything on the cutting boards and making sure that they don't cut the veggies and themselves with the blunt knives. Now, more often than not, you're going to find blunt knives on camps because you can't trust anybody with a sharp knife. Unfortunately, with a blunt knife, they're more at risk of causing injuries than sharp knives because the pressure that's applied to a blunt knife is far greater than the pressure you need to apply with a sharp knife. So at least have your knives slightly sharpened so that they're not totally blunt and can cause really, really bad injuries. One student I had on one of my programs, he managed to stab himself in the webbing of his hand with a knife. How he managed to do that, I don't know. But he was cutting up the vegetables and just came up to me and said, "Oh, sir, so I've cut myself." It's like, how? How did you do that? I mean, it was an impressive cut and we managed to apply pressure and patch it up okay, but I was astounded. But basically what he had done was he had pushed so much pressure on the knife, flicked it off the vegetable and skewered himself in the hand. Now, that's one part of it, and you really do need to monitor and supervise effectively when the kids are cutting things up. Once they're all cut up, the next thing is the fire, or most likely you're going to have something like a trangia. Now, a trangia, for those who don't know, is this little stove, and it's got an alcohol burner in the middle, and you pop it in and put your pot on and away it goes. Many schools I've worked at and many programs I've seen to begin with didn't actually contain these fires or didn't monitor this effectively. And this is the next really critical hazard that you need to manage effectively for when students are cooking. So what you want to do is set up what we call a trangia circle. Now, a trangia circle can be done just with a small bit of rope, and you put a big circle right around and the pots go in there. Nobody or nothing else goes in there, and your fuels go well away from where you are. So with that in mind, that you have your contained cooking circle and you only limit the number of kids near the cooking circle, you don't need 3 kids cooking in one pot. You need 1 student cooking in one pot. So limit the numbers around the cooking circle and actively monitor this. Don't cook your own dinner at this point in time. One great solution is get one of the kids to cook. This has worked many, many times, and I've often had a lot of student meals because they've offered to cook for me. And at this point in time, you don't want to be cooking because you need to be supervising what's going on and monitoring that fire circle and monitoring the way in which it's being conducted. And this is critically important to reduce the risk of burns and scalds, which are some of the highest numbers of injuries that you get when you have kids cooking on programs. So you monitor that they cook your dinner and you get to stand around drinking a cup of coffee whilst you watch them cook your dinner. What's not to like about that? One of the problems I've seen is when staff are cooking their own dinners is that they don't have that level of supervision. They become too focused on their own meal, and at the end of the day, you're the leader, you're looking after these kids, you can eat later. So use that opportunity to try some kids cooking, and the reaction that you get when they cook something for you and you are able to share a meal with them is really good. And it's all part of that bonding experience. It's all part of that journey of a camp and that way you can develop rapport with your kids in such a unique setting. So 2 main risks for cooking with kids. It's not the taste, it's not the flavour, it's not what they cook, although sometimes they can burn things and it's horrible, but we won't go there. But the 2 main hazards are cutting with knives, prepping meals, and also the cooking circle or the trangia circle. If you can effectively supervise these 2, then you've seriously reduced the risk of something going wrong on your program, and the kids are learning from this experience by cooking meals for themselves.